Hello, I'm Tom. I'm a 65-year-old runner. Today's video is going to be about cutback weeks, recovery weeks, down weeks. You've heard about recovery days after a run, but we're going to talk about why it is beneficial to every now and then have a recovery week. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like and also subscribe to my channel. A couple of years ago, I read a book by Amby Burfoot, this book right here. Burfoot, who won the 1968 Boston Marathon, he talked about cutback weeks. He began by saying how early in his competitive marathon career, he would typically do 16-week buildups. About 2/3 to 3/4 of the way through this buildup, he would get sick or struggle with an injury. And he got the idea at a certain point after going through this cycle a number of times to try taking rest weeks. He calls them cutback weeks. He found that what works best for him was about once a month to take a week of reduced mileage, reduced intensity. He would reduce his mileage and intensity by about 30%. And he found that he got injured far less often and got sick or ill far less often. And so he decided that these cutback weeks were crucial to his success as a runner. Amby Burfoot's college roommate, a fellow named Jeff Galloway, the author of this book here, briefly mentions cutback weeks in his book. He recommends taking the week of reduced mileage and intensity as well. Then there's Jeff McMillan, a well-known coach, who recommends down weeks, which are essentially the same thing as a cutback week. He recommends taking down weeks of something like 15 to 30% reduction in training. Greg McMillan says that it's optional whether to reduce the intensity. So if you're a runner that focuses, if you're a highly competitive runner focusing on the track events like 1,500 meters up to around 5,000 meters, he says it's optional. You can maintain intensity, but definitely reduce the distance load. Also, these cutback or down weeks are referred to as recovery weeks. They're something that have been around for years, and many runners have found them beneficial. Who benefits from cutback weeks? This channel is called Running After 60, so I think older runners who are injury prone would benefit greatly from adding cutback weeks into their training program. It's something I got to confess right off the bat, I have not applied cutback weeks to my own running, but I am applying it this week. So this week I'm reducing my mileage by about 25%. As I mentioned before, I'm currently on a build-up, kind of a comeback due to a calf injury. And I'm now up to about 14.5 miles per week. Not a whole lot of mileage. But I found that even just in the last few weeks, that 14.5 miles per week has resulted in stress. I've been feeling a little bit more knee pain in my right knee, and I've been feeling a few niggles in that right calf. So I figure that, well, maybe I should apply a cutback week to my own training. So So this week I'm voluntarily reducing my mileage and my intensity by about 24-25%. So my mileage is going to be down to about 11 miles this week. Cutback weeks were great for people that are in a build, such as in my case, where I'm gradually building up my mileage. My goal, by the way, is about 18 miles a week, 6 miles a shot. I run 3 days a week. When you're in a build, you're putting extra stress on your body. So each week you up the mileage a little bit more, and there's some extra stress going on. So cutback weeks, let's just say on a monthly basis. I mean, it can be as little as every other week. Amy Burfoot recommends that cutback weeks happen every other week, clear on up to maybe every 6 weeks, and anything in between. But the kind of the run-of-the-mill default would be a cutback week once a month. What do cutback weeks accomplish? They are a form of recovery. What happens when you're putting stress on your body week after week or day after day? Stresses to your skeletal system, your muscular system, your joints, tendons, stresses accumulate. And just taking recovery days may not be enough. Sometimes you need an entire week of reduced training for recovery. And this enables your muscles to heal up. Maybe there's some little tiny micro tears and the muscles need to recover. The joints are kind of inflamed a bit, and they need to recover for a week, and mentally as well. You're mentally, psychologically, there may be some fatigue that's been going on, and a rest week, a recovery week, a cutback week will get you refreshed mentally, so that when that recovery week is done, you can then increase your mileage again, go back to where you were, and if you're on a build, continue to increase your mileage after your recovery week has been completed. And then in 3 to 4 weeks, repeat the process. Take another recovery week. And so it refreshes you, it heals up the body. If there's any little tiny niggles or little tiny injuries that are just on the verge of flaring up, well, recovery week might nip that in the bud. So injury prevention, alleviating mental fatigue, those are reasons for taking cutback weeks. How do I plan on using cutback weeks in my own running in the future? Well, I've decided I'm going to use a recovery week after every 5K race. 5Ks are my race of choice, 5K road races. And it just so happens when everything's going well, I'm racing a 5K roughly once a month. So my plan is to have a recovery week after every race. I think this will work just about perfect for me. I typically take 2 to 3 days off of zero running anyway after every race. And then my plan is to spend the rest of the recovery week having very low mileage and gradually increasing it to where I'm back to normal after a good 7 days. So that's how I plan on applying cutback weeks to my own running. Cutback weeks are counterintuitive, I would say. They're on paper, they're something that's pretty straightforward, easy to understand, but actually applying it and having the discipline to hold back and allow yourself to actually reduce your mileage purposely. Now, for a guy like me, I'm very into momentum, moving forward, and I'm in the middle of a build back to running my goal mileage, and the last thing I want to do is actually reduce my mileage purposely. But I've also found that sometimes when I'm in a build and things just seem to be going really good and I'm excited about moving forward, increasing my mileage, maybe increasing the intensity, that's just the point when injuries happen. So instead of increasing the mileage and which results in an injury, when things are going well, maybe that is the time when you should take a cutback week. Once again, I'm using myself as a guinea pig. I'll fill you in the next upcoming videos. I'm putting out videos once a week, and I'll let you know how well these cutback weeks are working and if they are helping me prevent injury. There's endless things we can do to prevent injury, to run smart, and cutback weeks are just one more thing you can add to your arsenal. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a like and please subscribe to my channel and have a nice day. See you next week.